And you see, all outer communication is based on inner communication. So how I speak to myself about myself. Now, for many people, they call that their inner dialogue or their mental chatter. Whatever we call it, it's important to know that there have been scientific studies that say 90% of what we think in any given day is a repetitive thought.
Yeah.
And most of those repetitive thoughts are negative about ourselves. Why we can't do something, why we shouldn't do something, why we better not do something. And that inner communication is really the foundation of how I think about myself, what kind of value I feel I have. And then it's outpictured in how I talk to you or anybody else. And therefore, if I don't think highly of myself, I'll have my antennas up and I'll be very sensitive to listen for your criticism of me. Because I'm sure you're going to criticize me just like I criticize me, because my inner dialogue is self-critical.
Oh, boy. I mean, this is so foundational. And a lot of it, or all of it perhaps, is based on the fact, again, you saying that we learned very young that it's not okay to ask for what we want.
Yes.
So because it's not okay to ask for what we want, there are all these other ways. And, you know, it's interesting for me personally growing up in a household because my father was certainly aggressive and my mother was passive aggressive. And I guess I learned at a very young age that I saw really clearly that there were both things going on. That there was aggressive and there was passive aggressive, and that maybe even though one is louder, the other's just as loud, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah, in a different kind of a way.
Yes, because you see, the only alternative to being passive aggressive or being aggressive is to be assertive. But because as children, most of us were taught it is not okay to ask for what you want. That's impolite. What will other neighbors think? What will other people think? That's selfish. Who do you think you are? You know, you should be grateful for what you're given. You shouldn't want so much. Whether these were stated or nonverbal, they permeated our environment when we grew up. And why is that? Because that's the way our parents were raised. So most of our influence really happens in the first 6 years of our life.
Oh, boy.
And then it becomes repressed and suppressed, and we don't even know that that's what's controlling our lives.
Yeah, in Est, there's a one-liner that says it's what's subconscious that rules you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And that's why it's only through self-awareness. If you think of self-awareness as a light, it's a light that sheds itself on the dark places that are unconscious to us. And when that light of self-awareness shines there, it gives us free choice. And that is what the most any of us can have in any given moment, is the free choice to choose what we want to do in that moment. And so what makes me so excited about the website is because what I've done is I've taken 6 subject matters, and I call them modules. It's like communication is one, awareness, self-awareness is another, for example. And I give you one of these truths or insights. And then I give you an exercise. And I do the exercise. So I've done every exercise I ask you to do in order to show you the correct way to do it. So, but in addition to that, every exercise comes with its own audio. So before you even do the exercise, I'm speaking to you about it. And I'm telling you, this is the way to get the most awareness out of this exercise. And when you're doing this exercise, this is what you want to pay attention to. And this is what you want to be aware of. And so it's as if you're sitting in the room with me, and I'm talking to you much like if you were sitting in the room with me, and I said, okay, I'd like you to do this exercise. But before you do the exercise, let me give you some guidelines to help you go deeper and get the most out of the experience. And so that's what the audio does. And I tell you to listen to that at least twice. Mm-hmm. Then read the truth. Now, read and do the exercise. And I give you paper to do the exercise, because the more you use your senses, the more the learning stays with you. So if you're reading, and I tell you to read out loud, then you're using your eyes, your voice, your writing, so it's kinesthetic. You feel the paper, you're writing the words, and you're saying the sentence as well as giving the answer. So one thing I'm aware of right now is, and then you fill in the blank. Because every time you say these words that I've carefully chosen for you to say, it's allowing you to go deeper than the mind chatter in order to listen to your own inner wisdom. And we all know the answers. The only question is whether or not we're willing to listen to the answers and take the action that the answer tells us we need to take.
So powerful. And so I really want to encourage everyone. I've done this. Go to the website and look. It's free. You know, the initial part of it, you know, all of these exercises are free. Check it out, and, this is some wonderful work. As it turns out, you called, you got in touch with me from seeing a show.
I did.
And asked to be on the show. And as it turns out, we grew up 2 minutes away from each other in Philadelphia.
That's right, we did.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought that was quite amazing.
Quite amazing. You know, here it is, 5,000-6,000 miles away, and same city, same tribe, the whole deal. So it's really a pleasure to meet you. It really is a pleasure for me to meet you, and I thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, I want to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Absolutely.
Because for me, it's a great blessing to be able to fulfill my life dream, which is to have people have access to my teaching without having access to me physically, because there's only one of me. And the internet makes it possible for me to not be bound by the physical limitation of one person or one place, but rather to be able to share my dream of bringing clarity and assist people in alleviating their suffering. So I thank you very much for helping me to make that possible.
Oh, thank you so much. That's it for this episode, but I want to thank our sponsors for this show that really helped to make this show possible. Hunton Conrad and Associates, an architectural firm dedicated to creating inspiring homes and gardens. Also sponsored by our wonderful guest, Sheila Rada Conrad, who's doing transformational work on Maui for 35 years with individuals, couples, families, and businesses. And Key Moments Video Memoirs, creating personal documentaries for the significant events in your life or to tell your life story. KeyMomentsVideo.com. And also want to mention that if anyone out there would like to be a guest or would like to be a sponsor, please contact me at the website or email address in the credits. So that's it for this episode of Life on Maui, and I want to thank you so much for joining us, and until next time, aloha.
crazy, but I'm never